Tonight Talk with Teresa. Tonight I'm by myself. My girl Nikki cannot be with me, which is cool because I'm used to being on this by myself. That's why it's called Night Talk with Teresa. So I hope you're all having a wonderful day. Wonderful day. So tonight's talk is about the third feminine trait men find irresistible in women. That was done by Stephen Speaks. So I'm going to play his part and then I will, of course, give my feedback on it. So let me go ahead and press start and we'll go on.
And this one, I'm not gonna lie to you, I was hesitant to put on this list, and then I thought about putting it at the very end of the list. But God put it in my spirit to put it here, to talk about this, and let's just get to it. So the third feminine trait men find irresistible is being submissive. Now listen, I know a lot of you do not like the word submissive, and it can be very triggering, all right? And I want you to understand, let me make it very clear right now. This is not about you letting some man become your dictator. This is not about you being a weak vessel so that you can't lead yourself. You're incapable of holding yourself up, okay? It is simply about understanding the beneficial dynamics of men and women being in relationships, all right? A heterosexual relationship. And so...
And here comes the lovely ads.
There's someone like you who reunited the family.
Here's the thing you have to understand. Let me start off by saying this. From all my years of doing this, and I've been doing this, 12, 13 years, what I have learned is that at the core of this discussion, at the core of this topic, the issue is not really about submission. The issue is about trusting a man to lead, okay? And it's very important that we lay it out that way because I always say, if a woman, most women, if an angel could come down from heaven right now and say, listen, God's going to give you a man, this man is going to never hurt you, never cheat on you, be everything you need him to be, and all we need you to do is submit to him. The majority of women be like, sign me up. Where can I get one of those, all right? Because again, it's not a problem for a lot of women to actually embrace submission if they feel like they can be safe there.
Exactly.
The rejection of it in many cases is the fact that there's such a negative perception of men's ability to lead, the safety of trusting a man in the long run, that women then reject the idea of submission. Now let me also put this out there. When we talk about it from a very spiritual perspective, understand there's a level of submission that both sides are doing to each other. The man is submitting to the wife, the woman is submitting to the man. But yes, there is but then there is that next level, so to speak. So if we look at it from three layers, I'll break it down like this. There is the layer one. Woman and man submit to each other. They're submitting to each other's needs. They're pouring into each other. You know what I'm saying? They're a team. They're coming together. Layer two is the woman submitting to the man. And that layer two is more so like recognizing him as head of household, allowing him to be the full leader. And again, it's important that you understand that giving him the lead in that way does not mean you don't have a voice. I do not advocate for taking the woman's voice away. But what I do advocate is taking the burden off the woman. And I think that when a woman is with the right man in the right relationship, and she is able to submit, she is able to be free. She is able to walk even more in her feminine energy. She is able to be at peace. She doesn't have to carry the burden of, I got to get this done, I got to do this, I got to make this decision, all these things. It doesn't mean you don't got an opinion. It doesn't mean he doesn't take into account how you feel, because he should. And I'm going to always encourage that with men. But it just means, okay, he's earned your trust. And not just he's earned your trust, if you are with the person that you know God wants you to be with, then you trust God enough to say, all right, If you're saying this is the guy for me, then I can give him that submission. Okay? Which is why the third layer of this is the man submitting to God. So, listen, from my perspective, I'm a man of God. I'm not going to tell any woman to submit to a man who does not submit to God. I'm not saying you cannot have this dynamic outside of a spiritual relationship and those who are believers, but this is the concept or the dynamic with which I work in, okay? And so I'm going to, pass that along to the viewers. But you are allowed to apply this in your own way if you got to. But anyways, so when we understand that a lot of women ultimately at the core of it do not have an issue with submission, and I would even argue that there is a natural occurrence when a woman is not holding on to past hurt and past issues and past disappointment. So she's healed, all right? Or at least she's healthy. And she is with a masculine man. And they are pouring into each other. There is an innate, not just desire, but a natural occurrence of her being more submissive to him. And again, it's not taken in some negative, horrible way because the intentions are good from both sides. And so the thing, though, that women have to understand, because I know a lot of women will say, well, exactly, if these men would just be more masculine, if they would be more trustworthy, they would lead, I would have no problem. But notice what I said. If the woman is healthy emotionally, the problem is if you are not healthy emotionally as a woman, not only will you block your ability to walk in your femininity in a general sense, but what will happen in these situations where you come across a masculine man is that, yes, you will more than likely find yourself being more feminine and being more submissive while with this man. But then because you have not healed, those unhealed parts of you will kind of poke you like, hey, what's going on here? Don't let him have that much power over you. And again, I'm saying it like that because that's what your bad devil on your shoulder is going to tell you, okay? But that's not what he's actually trying to do. Is like he's not trying to control you, but your unhealed parts will start to frame it in a negative way. We'll start to be like, wait a minute, I'm too vulnerable here. Wait a minute, what's going on? And so now there becomes this back and forth. Now there becomes this struggle to sustain the femininity, to sustain the submissiveness in that relationship, because you have to heal first. So understand that that's an important piece of this puzzle. You can't just expect the man to make you more feminine. That's not his responsibility. It's for you. And as I said in the very beginning of this video, this is for your own health. So before you even meet a man, you got to learn how to walk in that energy, that spirit already. And that's another thing that's important to understand when we talk about submission, because again, many women will say, I don't have a problem with submission if it's the right guy, if he shows leadership, all these different things, right? But the problem is you don't even exude the ability to do it. And so the man who has the capabilities of leading in love, in pouring into you, in making sure you're good, he doesn't see that spirit coming off of your body. So he's like, nah, okay, I'm going to leave this one alone. She seems too difficult. She seems too walled up. Whatever. It repels him. And so it's important to understand this is why healing is important. This is why walking in your femininity, regardless of you being in a relationship or not, regardless of what's going on, you learning how to tap into that always is going to be what's most beneficial for you in your everyday life, but also what's going to allow you or increase your ability to connect with the right guy and have an amazing, healthy relationship. All right, so...
Okay, so my take on that one is this. If you did not pay attention, in order for us women to open up to submission, is one, we got to be healed from our previous relationship. I know a bunch of us have been hurt tremendously, and we're still carrying that hurt, and we've got to let it go. We got to let it go. What happened taught us a lesson, and we should have learned from it, and we move on. So being submissive as well is sort of like releasing your reins. So you don't have so much control. You don't have to have control the whole time. You have to let the man control sometimes. And I find myself, because I've been independent for so long, that I find myself, it's hard to release and let somebody else lead, or let somebody else, let that man be the stronghold in the relationship. But of course, there's a difference between, as he stated before, some of us say, can we find a man who's actually at that level? Yeah, some of us have not met that man who's at that level yet. That's submissive to God. That's willing to do what it takes to be submissive to his woman as well. So that's the thing that you got to take from this is heal first, live in your femininity, and things are gonna happen for you. You don't have to be rigid. You don't have to be so, okay, this happened to me before kind of thing. No, we got to be open to submission. That is what he's saying. So I don't have a problem with that. I really don't. I got to work on that myself. So that's what he's saying. So I'm going to go ahead to the next one, which is the fourth trait.
Now we got a fourth feminine trait that men find irresistible, and that's simply being appreciative and grateful. Now, I actually wrote down on my paper being down to earth and not being entitled.
Let's talk about the importance of taking care of your mental health.
So, of course, there's the ad. So, 1 second.
But my spirit made me say no, grateful and appreciative. Now, I think they kind of all connect in a certain way. So I'm going to run it all down, right? But grateful and appreciative is the priority things. So real quick, let's just look at not being entitled and down to earth. I think that, again, the down to earth is the more at ease. You know, I mentioned in the other video that you're going to see after this about the 9 additional qualities. I talk about sense of humor, being, not being as tense. You know what I'm saying? Just free flowing. Because understand, the feminine energy is a very free flowing, loving, happy energy. So when you're down to earth and you're just cool, you're just chill, it's not so serious, more laid back. That's very attractive because that kind of spirit brings more peace to the relationship. It brings more harmony to the relationship. Now, not being entitled is definitely because I think one of the issues that, well, this is where entitlement and appreciation and gratefulness are connected. Because when you have entitlement, you will struggle to show appreciation and be grateful. Because in your mind, well, this is what the hell you're supposed to do. Like, the hell? You want a cookie? What you want me to do because you did this? Like, this is what a man does. No, stop all that. Stop all that. Like, listen. Everything that someone does for you, man, woman, child, doesn't matter. It's a choice that they're making. We as people have to learn to be appreciative of the choices of people make to do good by us, to pour into us, to be honest with us, all these different things. And when we show an appreciation, I always say appreciation breeds production. So you want to kill the entitlement attitude. Nobody owes us anything, all right? Nobody. And it doesn't mean don't have standards in a relationship. It doesn't mean, don't express what you're looking for and what is required to be with you. But at the same time, understand that every time they check off that box and they do the right thing, encourage that, welcome it, celebrate it. You know what I'm saying? All these things. I think if we showed each other more appreciation, think about how more blessed that relationship becomes.
I'm going to stop it right there. One of the things that he said was being down to earth. And there are so many people out here who are trying to be something that they're not. That's not cool. Be down to earth, man. I'm one of the coolest people you could ever meet. When you first get to know me, you might, before you even get to know me, you might think I'm something, but I'm not. But I am as down to earth as I can be. I'm chill. I'm cool. I'm not into games, none of that. But what he's saying means a lot of sense. We take people for granted all the time, and we don't appreciate them for the little things that they do. I find myself now saying, I appreciate you checking on me. I appreciate you doing things. But how often does that come back to me? Some people do it, some people don't. And I'm gonna give an example. Is there was a guy that I was interested in, and he tried to come out. Our schedules were not. They were just conflicting back and forth, back and forth. This guy tried everything he could to try and just let us meet up to where we could at least get a hug or something. And he thought about it. He tried. He tried. He said, "Nope, that won't work either." And I said, "You know what? I really appreciate you trying to come up with a way that we can meet up together, just just to hold hands, just to be around." So I appreciated that. So whenever things happen, you want to appreciate the person that's doing it for you, and just show that you are grateful. Otherwise, they're gonna stop doing it. I know I would. I'd be like, they don't appreciate it, so I'm gonna stop doing it. So that's what you really need to do, is say, "I appreciate you doing this. I appreciate you doing that." And give that in return. That's all I gotta say. Appreciate and give back. That's what my thoughts are on this. So let me go ahead and let him continue.
You know what I'm saying? So being able to be more grateful and appreciative, because again, there are a lot of men, contrary to popular belief, there are a lot of men who are trying really damn hard with their woman. I mean, one of these days I'm going to give y'all a lot of these stories, all right? I'm going to bring these stories to the forefront, because I think some of y'all just do not understand what's going on out there. And that woman is showing them no appreciation. None. It's like their efforts mean nothing. And
I'm gonna stop right there. If any of y'all men are in a relationship like that and you're not being appreciated, hit this sister up, cause I'll appreciate you. Not that I'm thirsty or anything, but you know how to holler.
there's only so much a man can do before he is just defeated and he's like effort. Even if he remains in a relationship, which is a whole other discussion, he's emotionally checked out, mentally checked out, and it just destroys everything. But it starts with, we have to appreciate and be grateful of each other. All right, and the last one, and I actually have a quick bonus after this, but the last one is knowing yourself and loving yourself. And the reason why that's a feminine trait that men find irresistible is because
imagine what would happen
There we
if
go.
every person in the United States suddenly visited your website. Would it crash?
it speaks to the core issue of insecurity. And what I mean is that when you don't love yourself, when you lack confidence, when you don't know who you are, it's so much easier to be insecure. It's so much easier to struggle in so many areas of your life, and it impacts your ability to be positive, loving, all these different things we're talking about. All right, it makes it harder for you to be expressive, because let's be real, one of the reasons why we struggle to express ourselves is we're not confident in saying how we truly feel. And sometimes we don't know ourselves enough to even properly articulate what we're feeling. So at the core of all of this, I think the two foundational pieces to always work on or remember is, of course, healing, but then knowing and loving yourself. Giving yourself time to get to know you and love you for who you are, and only accepting a man who loves you for you. All right? Because listen, these traits will make you more irresistible, but I don't care. Like, if you start attracting 20 of the guys tomorrow, but they don't love you for you, they're just attracted in the moment, they're caught up in the hype, I'm not going to encourage you to be in that relationship. I want you to be with the guy, like I said earlier, who you have a connection with, who loves you at your core. But I want you to be the best you. I don't want you to have this mentality of, well, yeah, okay, he should love me, flaws and all. To a certain extent. It's like, okay, yeah, we all got our flaws, but some flaws are very detrimental to the success of a relationship, to the even potential of a relationship. You can't just overlook all your negatives. We gotta work on those things. So again, become your best you, love yourself, know yourself, and you're gonna start to exude that feminine energy that just makes you amazing. And so the last thing I'm gonna know really quick, bonus, this isn't really a feminine trait, but I had to mention this in this video. And that is, men love a woman who has emotional intelligence. All right? So quickly, emotional intelligence is essentially becoming a master of your emotions, knowing how to use it for good, not allowing your emotions to get the best of you and have you all over the place and losing sight of things. All right? So, as a woman, I want you to be in tune with self, in tune with spirit. I want you to be in tune with your emotions, because the more in tune with it you are, the more you know how to master it. The more you know how to, okay, wait a minute, I'm starting to feel angry. Okay, let me catch myself. Let me calm myself down. Let me take the necessary steps to pull back, to get back into a positive mindset, because I am aware. Because when you are emotionally intelligent, you are aware. By raising your awareness, you become better equipped to handle situations. So many women, because they struggle in that area, and it's a struggle that men and women have, but we're just talking about women right now, that can send so many situations left. So, again, it's not just beneficial for the sake of relationships and men, for you. And when you can learn how to have higher emotional intelligence, you will start to experience a better, higher quality, more efficient life. Thank you for watching this video.
Okay, so with that said, emotional intelligence, I learned this in leadership classes as well. You take that in a relationship, you can use that in every aspect of your life. So, for instance, knowing when you're starting to feel a certain kind of way is when you know you're growing within yourself and you know how to control that emotional intelligence. I'm one of those people that when something's bothering me, I'm 10 to 1 gonna back down a little bit and not say anything, which is bad because I should say how I feel. But because you don't know, because there's so many things going on in my head, I could say the wrong stuff that I can't take back. So that's why sometimes I'll wait, catch my thoughts, think about, is it really worth saying right now before I say it? And then when it comes back out, when I'm ready to say it, I don't try to do it in a defensive mode because I don't like to be defensive. Um, but that's a very important aspect. And there's books you can have on emotional intelligence. I have one. Um, but to use that in a relationship is great. Again, everything that he's talking about, a lot of it involves communication. If you just talk to each other about things, not holler, not nag, but just talk, talk about what you're feeling, about what you like, what you don't like. Before you get into a relationship, what what things irk you, what things don't irk you. I mean, honestly, that's the whole point of it all. And once you continue that communication, then things just continue to grow for you and get better. And and what's your goals? What's your ask? What do you want for yourself? That's important questions to ask, and go from there. So, again, I love Steven Speaks. That's my man. I'm telling you, he's very intelligent, and I love that. That if you want to know, that's sexy to me, being intelligent. Um, so that's the thing there. So that was that was the last one. So if you paid attention to my podcast, went over the 5 feminine traits men find irresistible in women. That was the last one, and that was my commentary about it. Um, Other than that, next week, who knows? If you want to send in letters again, please send in a letter. If you want me to put it on my podcast, send it to Teresa, Teresa, R. Drakeford, Drakeford, at gmail.com. Anything you want me to go over in my podcast, I will give my feedback about it. I don't tell who it's from or anything like that, so it's confidential. So just understand that. So again, here I am on a Tuesday night. I hope you all had a wonderful day, and please have a blessed night. And thank you for tuning in. All right. Good night, everybody.